This upcoming week, I'm expecting gold to go higher, maybe all the way up to 1900. Coming into next week, I'm expecting euro to continue to fall. So I want prices like between 13.50 all the way down to 112. Hello and welcome to Weekly Forecast. Last week we looked at dollar strength and yen weakness. Well, we got that, but we got yen strength in the end, and oh man, that took us out. The next thing is, if you want to improve your more overall trading strategy, is seasonality. So here we have the dollar index, and we're looking into November. This is today's date, and we can see November seasonality wise should be very strong in November. But also if you look at the chart, well, that actually is very true. It has been very strong this year. Now coming into now and this reality, we have a very strong trend. Now, can this be a double top? Can this be a reversal pattern? No, because I haven't seen anything in the news or the articles. I've even seen more bullishness for dollar because I have seen that the Fed members has become more bullish on more rate hikes. That means we're going to have more dollar strength. When the market starts to think, well, we're going to increase interest rates in America, well, the market has in the past gone significantly higher. So I'm not going to send this one down. The next one is, what is going to happen this week? Do we see a pullback? Do we want a pullback? Well, I just want to see this one continue higher. So I think this is not a top. I think this is just one part of let's go higher. So if you go to euro, for example, what happened here on Friday? Let me see if I can put the right ones on there. Oh yeah, I gave out those prices before Friday and say, if price comes up here, that might be the sell price for next week. So we are already starting to think next week on Thursday. That is when you need to start thinking of, what am I going to do next week? So if you don't have these entries already, what are you going to do? Well, you need to hope that you will get up to 1340 or 1387 before falling. And you will think, well, maybe go down to 120. This is not financial advice whatsoever, but that is what I would look forward to do this week. And as long as we are below 1450, this price here, I think this is pretty bearish. So would I buy this one? Not at all, not at all, not at all. I wouldn't even imagine it. Oh, coming into Australia, the same thing happened here. I mentioned these prices on Friday. Prices comes up to 72.80, and what happened on Friday? Well, it fell down. So what are you going to do now? Well, you're going to hope again that price will come back up and then continue lower. On this time from here, you're thinking, well, as long as price is below 73.70, you think that this is still bearish. So you need to look forward to this coming lower. And where's the target, do you think? Well, I think the target should be all the way down to 71.50. Now, are we going to fall or are we going to rise? Well, if the market rises, then so be it. But right now, as long as we are below 73.60, as long as we are below that, we have all the reasons in this world to send this one down. Now, going over to gold, I do believe that we should be able to maybe rise for next week. And the reason is, what do you think that? Well, I think that the market is now pricing in risk because we had lockdown in Austria and Germany is looking into something similar. And then we have restrictions in Netherlands with regards to COVID. And then Norway is also now starting to, we need to look into how to restrict this spread. That really drove yen on Friday. Is that going to continue? Well, I guess so, because COVID doesn't move away for one day. There's no financials that can change the course of COVID. That is a medical thing. That is a human thing. We can't put money to it because if we did, it should have been gone a long time ago. So that's like the next week. The other one for next week is we have the meeting minutes from the Fed. That is going to be interesting because if there's more people now talking about interest rates earlier, or saying that the economy is going crazy, or if they're saying that this is not transitionary anymore. Okay? Look for those clues in the meeting minutes from the Fed. And by the way, the economic calendar is here. We have the RBA meeting minutes next week. We have retail sales out of USA. We have those. That's this week, eh? This is next week. Now I'm better. Like we have China interest rates. We have retail sales out of New Zealand. We have market PMIs out of Europe. We have some RBNZ statement. Aye. New Zealand, are you going to get strong again? Finally. Huh? Or is the market going to be fooled again? They have fooled the market before. Now they're pricing it a 75% increase rate. Depends. What is the forward guidance? That's going to go down into New Zealand and either up or down, depending on what the forward guidance. So that's going to be a tricky situation. As I mentioned, FOMC on Wednesday, and then durable goods. That's a forward guiding economic indicator. So please look into that one. And then GDP out of Switzerland. The other thing to mention about Switzerland is that the Swissy become very strong on Friday. It has broken 105. Is that important? Yeah, that is important, because that has not been below this one since 2015, I think it is. Yeah, so back in the flash crash of 2015, so we've even passed below COVID here. So the strength in Swiss is high at the moment. The other question becomes, will the Swiss National Bank kick in and make the Swissy weak again? Well, if that happens, I'm just going to tell you, it's going to be a straight line. No pullbacks. It's going to be boo. So every hourly candle is going to go higher and higher and higher when and if the Central Bank of Switzerland kicks in. I also saw on the COT report 8,000 more contracts to the long side. So the market is really driving into buying Swissy. So if you're thinking of Swissy pairs, maybe look out for the absolutely suddenly weakness in the Swiss. At least gold. I was thinking, yeah, let's look for the upside. Is this congruent with an upside? No, not really. The reason why I said was because we're going into more strength, more risk off. Okay, I think this can now turn higher. It all depends on the dollar, okay? Dollar is also a very key important here. So if dollar falls a bit, gold is strong by itself, this might go higher. But also, do remember, I said 1819 last week. Well, it went a bit higher. So I'm thinking, well, let's go to 1900 this week then. Because, well, what if it does? And if it doesn't, well, adios amigos, we are all well. So where should your stop loss be? You should have stop loss below 1820. That is not financial advice. You shouldn't really trade it if you can't. But I'm just saying, where's the general market direction I think is going to go? And then if it doesn't, it doesn't. You should not be out here losing money left and right on gold for the absolute reason that you might be trading it for the wrong reasons. Basically because you're thinking, well, this is money to be made. Gold is only to be keeping your wealth, not gaining wealth. That's why people trade gold. Okay, pound dollar coming into 134.18, hopefully tomorrow or on Tuesday, and then going downtown. Where should the target be? Well, 133.60. So it's like a good deal to me. Pound should be strong. Well, that did not happen because dollar is stronger. So for this pair in particularly, we need to look at what dollar does. We're looking for dollar bullishness. Well, this might one fall as well. Also, do remember we have 19,000 less buys on this one. So that's a big change on the COT report and what the big traders does in this market. So you might see some pound falling next week. Pound yen. I want this to go rise. And I dearly want this to rise. Is this bullish? Nope. So adios amigos. See you later, alligator. I need to go above 154.60, I think. Also on pound dollar above 136, we are then looking for more bullishness. About 136, that is that level there. Okay, good. Now, pound yen. What do I want to see? Yen weakness. because the Japanese economy is doing absolutely terrible at the moment. They have negative GDP of negative 0.8% of the last quarter, 3% negative over the past year. So really not great at all. That's one. They almost not have any inflation. The most important indicators, and I haven't looked at the labor market, but it says the same story. The other thing that the Japanese government did, they added some stimulus packages of 1.6 trillion Japanese yen. Doesn't seem the market to be very, very interested in that. Maybe that will come in later. So you have yen weakness at some point, you have New Zealand strength at some point, CAD strength at some point, and pound strength at some point. So I'm going to be patient. I'm going to wait. I'm probably going to trade the dollar in dollar pairs instead and see if I can get some trades out there and just keep the yens on the shelf until it becomes better again. This is USD CAD. Looks like we have hit take profit for the last week. Oh, sorry, almost. So coming into next week again, hoping we can get down to 126 area and up to 127 area. Support resistance, higher high, higher low, bada bing, bada boo. Nothing more to report here. It's not bearish. It's definitely bullish, very aggressive, coming down to central, coming down to M2, one of those prices, either that one or that one, and we shall see what happens throughout the week. We can't really choose right now what's going to happen, but I want to see dollar strength. I want to see this one going higher, and then we shall see if I'm right in the end. Again, this on US oil, I want this to rise, okay? So the only trade plan I'm showing you right now is not my own. I'm showing you what you can have as a trade plan if you are a bear on this one. 77.50, 78, or 78 and 79 are the prices you're looking for that you might go lower. Now, I don't know if this is some kind of event or whatever happened here, but the central pivot has already been ticked for this upcoming week. Now, is that a bad thing? Is price never going to back there? Of course, price can now move lower, but that's not your plan. That's not what you want to see. You want to see price coming in and say, hey, I want to go back there so I can get some more sellers, and then we can, boom, go it lower. Can you buy this one here? Sure, of course, you can click the buy button, but I wouldn't in a million years be doing that myself. I will be terrified, horrified, and I will probably go and hide if you do decide to buy this one right now at this particular moment. And the other thing that we then need to look into, USD yen. What is happening here? Well, something happened here that I need to explain to you guys before somebody starts to take me down, is that I didn't see this, but I see it now. Everything is in hindsight. That we hit the weekly target early, and we had a massive fall on this pair. Now we had a fall of 131 pips. That's a lot on USD yen. So I do apologize for not seeing that early enough. I know someone was like thinking, well, this should go higher. I should have been having a warning sign out there. Well, whoa, there's a red light here. I didn't see it before it happened. My apologies. I will take that as a note, and I will continuing to make better trading plans, looking to the markets a bit more for the next week. If you're looking into improving your trading, look out for this kind of report. This is from SEB, the week ahead, and they are talking about the most important events coming week is the announcement of the Fed chair before Thanksgiving. Maybe it will be Powell, maybe it will be Bernard, who knows. And then they're talking about all these fundamentals, about what kind of economic events going to happen next week. This piece here is important to read every week. If you don't understand a living life out of what this says, please ask me. But I can go through this on one of my lives and go sentence for sentence. The most important sentence is always the start. And when you're coming down here, they're like talking about, well, what's going to happen next week, And China's central bank will announce its loan prime rate, which I talked about also in the economic calendar, and all those other things. There's going to be FOMC meeting minutes. It's all the good stuff. You don't need to look at the economic calendar even. And then there's a Nordic outlook. Then there is some PMIs out of Euro area. You want this to rise, and right now they have peaked a bit. So is that a thing for concern? Maybe. Oh, and then, of course, key events coming up this week. And so, yeah, please read. And amazing. I think this is amazing. This is free research. You didn't need to pay any research developer or any PhD student or PhD graduate whatsoever. Now, coming into this week, I'm expecting dollar strength. I am hoping for yen weakness. I don't have that at the moment. I'm hoping for gold to go higher. And I believe, by the way, that we might see some strong moves next week before we can turn this thing around. And let's jump on Bitcoin for a moment. We have now officially a lower low. I said up here we can have a fall of 20%. So how far is 20%? That is around 55,000. And we have kind of reached that point. Are we now going higher? I don't know, bro. But hopefully my general view is for this one to go higher. But right now at that move there, that is currently bearish and to the downside. And for my South African friends, as always, down to 1555 area up to 1600. 16. I think that's a good trade. Still very bullish. Nicely coming down to the central, coming down to M2. Yeah, I think that's a good trade to the upside. S&P 500 here. Still bullish, but a bit of a range here this last week. It really scared me this fall here, so I did get out that trade I had here at break even. And right now I'm just hoping for a new higher high coming up again coming up again for this November strength that I'm hoping for is going to continue into the next week as well.